Yo, everybody, what's good? So, once and again, back in this greatness, so, the harvest kick around, and, you have no way to, sit around complaining, because it's best about to being about it, and having to put forth that effort every day, giving a chance at whether you win it or not, and you bring it back in, that door's, it got you. It takes a grip of you, and you have that way of, resting and calling it your home. And then it's back up to taking that scuffle, the shuffle stack of cards, making sure you bring in the plate and the bacon home. So it's kind of like the city don't really understand it, but they understand themselves in their own concept and how much of life controls the rest of that to get the rest of that stuff out of the door and whatever you have to do to perform in the day. So it's kind of situating whatever's working magic at any given subject. So it's sticking around to what works best for any remedy at whatever's given and taken at the minute. So it's on having resourceful things that are really can beat you, can meet you kind of before anything get impatient. So it's without those resources and things that people can really have to themselves or grab to themselves, it's kind of a scuffle war, and those are those deck of cards that are shuffling through, kind of, and how much you feel the weather, then you put your boots on. It's no matter about the stovetop turkey stuffing and having some turkey day or whatever. You get the mittens, you get the thermometer, you know, the cooking timer, clock, timer. You open the oven, bam, tongues out, white flag, turkey's ready. So it's a lot of rolling around just to get to the end of that puzzle. You know what I mean? And the worst thing you could do is turn into a leprechaun when it's time to be your golden years and you're rich. Around those times, people, has acidic, toxic waste that's really ready to get into your eardrum. But the youth in you, the youth around you, is a different moon pattern, and it's kind of waxing, waning, and high tide, low tide. Kind of a teenager can't argue with the elder all their lives, and a teenager can't argue with a kid. Kid can't argue with adolescents, tweens, which is 12 and 11 and up probably. But growing up back when I was younger, 16, 14, 17, 19, it's kind of it was either one person was talking to the wall, or a couple of good symphonies in the air, a couple of good attitudes and work ethic, and putting a good store credit on, because not seeing anything you go to a store, you shop, cool, boom, you get out. So it's really finding that over the years and putting it on file cards, credit cards, and debits. So kind of works up. The same teenagers probably arguing at the elder, because a time flipped in a glimpse, in a glare. And after it, it's you best get out the door and feel some wind against, the cheeks again, because it's better hot and ready, because it's the world is ready and against everything that's not, up to take it, against time. So, a unstressful voyage, journey, and traveling. So it kind of puts you back to how, life's gonna really be speaking and screeching out to you at the end of the tunnel. So it's kind of you look up and then it's back at scratch one, stage one, hamburger helper, locking that door, having bleach smelling floors, and going back to work. Maybe you not have a couple of you're gonna have kids running around, but it's they're probably with the moms, because that's unexempt. So you have to be tardy with being a father and a role model a little bit. So it's same thing, music and what's keeping you going. So it's like, what have you, So it's like you have, any way you slice that pizza, it's still going to be pepperoni. So those are the best things that are like circumstances that aren't taken seriously but taken for granted, because it's like it's better off on, if it's going to help hot, or you just going to ignore it, and put self-care and all that good self-awareness in the back seat, and have trouble, right in the passenger, because those problems get serious when you're not serious about problems. Same for situations. So having self-care in the back seat, windows up, whatever. So it's like you're treating it unfairly. So you treat care unfair, it's gonna treat you unfair later on. Moon patterns, waxing, waning, and high tide, low tide, whatever. Reference puts everything else into, what's available for you. Grab a broom, grab a spatula, grab. Because the reference is on file. Maybe you probably weren't bad around kids. Maybe you were good in school and didn't have to go, to the military. So, or, you're not in detention. So cool. You have this great, you know, reference vocabulary that's really kicking off in people's database. Like a time kick off in a period, and it's a different age limit, but somebody's still gonna get hungry and be needing something that's beneficial, not to wake up out the door and just wait on a bad card to lay down on the table. It's better on, like I say, anywhere you slice that piece is still gonna be pepperoni. You don't have anything to come against you when you have a lot of things that you worked up underneath to come up in the underdog, and coming out of the closet with a fresh attitude. So it's better on the same thing that puts you in a good mood to really have those good moods attracted to you, and kind of tune out your destiny a little bit. So like I say after every cast, walk your dog every day. Hopedealatv TV, always sticking to what you're supposed to be doing at, in the day of the hand. Whatever's like ready for you, be ready. And don't really have time to really, warm stovetop stuff and have TV on, and kind of have your sunsets and your sunrises, take on your day. It's like you take on what you're supposed to perform in the day before it comes and get here. So it's better on not just having, a route to go on the street. It's like having yourself ready to take on the route to get to what's important, what's helpful, what's not a Yahtzee game. Put that coffee mug back in your hand, and it takes a win for the day. So I'm out for it. Honey Fox, Hopedealatv TV, walk your dog every day.